I can name you 7, 8 church fathers who say that women can't go to heaven. Up until the 1500s, Christians didn't think women had souls until they had a council about it and figured it out. Let's not talk about women, my friend.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. You heard it from lesbian Orthodox Muslim that he could name 7, 8 church fathers that said women can't go to heaven. And he also said it had to take a council in 15th century to show that women have souls. So I went to the place that Mr. Lesbiano should have gone, and I went to Grog. I'm kind of favoring Grog lately over ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not giving me that warm feeling anymore. So what did I ask Grog? I said, was there ever a Christian council on women having a soul? And the answer is no. There was never a Christian council that debated whether women had souls. The idea stems from a myth surrounding the Synod of Macon in 585 AD, where a bishop reportedly questioned whether the Latin term homo, which means human, included women. This was a linguistic discussion, not a debate about women's souls. The story was later exaggerated by critics of the church like Johannes Lacer in the 17th century to falsely claim such a debate occurred. Official records of the Macon show no evidence of this, and Christian doctrine has always affirmed that both men and women have souls, as seen in Genesis 1:27, and consistent teachings on baptism and salvation. All right, so then I asked, what about church fathers saying women could not go to heaven? No church father explicitly stated that women could not go to heaven. Early Christian theology, rooted in texts such as Galatians 3:28, you can read that in the Bible, consistently affirmed that salvation was available to all regardless of gender. Well, if that's true, wouldn't that include women? However, some church fathers expressed views reflecting the patriarchal culture of their time, which could be misinterpreted and exaggerated. If anybody's going to misinterpret and exaggerate, it's going to be a Muslim like Lesbiano. It cites some examples. Tertullian, he wrote harshly about women, calling them the devil's gateway on the apparel of women. But this was about temptation, moral temptation, not about women not having salvation. What about Origins? Okay, he's talking about spiritual equality of men and women before God, right? And that women's roles were subordinate in terms due to social norms. And then also Augustine, you can throw Augustine in there. Then we go to John Chrysostom. He critiqued women's behavior in sermons, but also lauded women like Mary and female martyrs, affirming their place in heaven. Again, misinterpretations often arise from selective quotes or later critics projecting medieval biases into early writings. The church's liturgical practices, including baptism and veneration of female saints, i.e. Mary Perpetual, further confirmed that women's salvation was never in question. If you're referring to a specific quote or figure, I can dig deeper. Since Mr. Lesbiano did not provide any, I couldn't question Grog on it. Then I asked Grog, name every single Christian council with the date and the topic of discussion. So I have a huge list. This is before the Council of Nicaea, the Council of Jerusalem, nothing to do with women. The councils in Asia Minor, nothing to do with women. The councils on Quattro, I'm not even going to pronounce that name, nothing to do with women. The Council of Rome, nothing to do with women. The Council of Carthage, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, nothing to do with women. The Council of Iconium, nothing to do with women. The Council of Antioch, nothing to do with women. The Councils of Arabia, nothing to do with women. The Synods of Elvira, nothing to do with women. The Council of Carthage, 311, nothing to do with women. The Synod of Neo-Caesarea, nothing to do with women. The Council of Ankara, nothing to do with women. The Council of Aries, nothing to do with women. All right, so let's go to the ecumenical councils recognized by the Catholic Church. The First Council of Nicaea, nothing to do with women. The First Council of Constantinople, nothing to do with women. The Council of Ephesus, nothing to do with women. The Council of Chalcedon, nothing to do with women. The Second Council of Constantinople, nothing to do with women. The Third Council of Constantinople, nothing to do with women. The Second Council of Nicaea, nothing to do with women. Let's try the Fourth Council of Constantinople, nothing to do with women. How about the First Lateran Council? Nothing to do with women. How about maybe the Second Lateran Council? Nothing to do with women. Let's try the third one. Nothing to do with women. Hell, let's try the fourth one. Nothing to do with women. Now we go to the First Council of Lyons. Nothing to do with women. And we're already in 1245. Second Council of Lyons. Nothing to do with women. The Council of Vienna. Nothing to do with women. The Council of Constance. Nothing to do with women. The Council of Basso Ferrara in Florence. Nothing to do with women. Here we go. Finally, in the 15th century, I found one. The Fifth Lateran Council. Nothing to do with women. How about the Council of Trent? Nothing to do with women. How about the First Vatican, which is already in the 1869, 19th century? Nothing to do with women. I think I'm going to make this a song. Going Second Vatican Council. Now, this is a 1965. Nothing to do with women. Okay. Other notable ones, the council nothing to do with women. The Fourth Council of Constantinople, nothing to do with women. The Synod of Rome, nothing to do with women. The Council of Serdica, nothing to do with women. The Council of Laodicea, nothing to do with women. The Synod of Icey, nothing to do with women. The Synod of Jerusalem, I can't find a single Christian council that had to do with women not having souls. I couldn't find anything about church fathers saying that women don't go to heaven. This guy is just a complete moron.